Bob Arum is full of crap. Now, I watched the press conference. I didn't see Kate ABDO swinging the conversation in Deontay Wilder's favor. I didn't see it. I didn't see Tyson Fury disadvantaged. She cracked on Tyson Fury's attire, not wearing no shirt. Tyson said it's the sexy look, and she said, so they say. She asked him to sit down a couple of times, and he refused. The only thing I could see that could have indicated any type of Wilder bias is she hugged Wilder at the end of the presser, and she shook Tyson Fury's hand. I didn't see anything to suggest what Bob was saying. To me, it just sounded like he wanted to go off on her. That's what it sounded like to me. And as for the face-off, okay, she may have got that wrong, because when she said, let's have a face-off, you could hear representatives from, I'm assuming, both parties saying no, because there was no security up there. At the same time, I didn't feel that kind of energy that if they had a face-off, it would have necessarily went off. There might have been a push and a shove there. But yes, without no security, it's not ideal. 100%.
Crap! They bring this woman in from the UK, and she's slanting all the press conference to Wilder. Like, I don't give a damn, but it's obvious that that's what she was doing. And then she knew that the understanding was no facer. Tom Brown argued with Fox, no facer. We said no facer, and what does she say?
Face off.
Now we're going to do a face-off. Fuck her and fuck them. There was no face-off, and we saved the fight.
Hey, Bob. Yeah.
There's people actually sticking up for Bob. Oh, well, she nearly blew the fight by calling for a face-off. Well, hold on. She called for a face-off, then you hear the cries from the crowd. No. They're either representatives of Fury or Wilder or both, top rank in the PBC. And she called it off. When she called it off, they were at least 15 feet apart, at least, and they both backed off. Let's not get it twisted. It could have been a volatile situation with no security there. But all this, she nearly blew the fight. No, she never. They was nowhere near each other for it to have went off when she called for the face-off. Over-exaggerating. Now, in the presser in the second fight, Wilder pushed Fury and Fury pushed him back. But let's face it, look, Fury's a good boy. We saw when Billy Joe Saunders' dad was getting manhandled, Fury did nothing. And Deontay, he's a good boy. He ain't no Derek Chisora. He ain't no Dillian. They're good boys. Don't get it misconstrued. Good heavyweights. But they're good boys too. All that, I want to catch a body shit, they would have had a couple of pushes at the most. It's not like it was Roberto Duran and Tony Ayala. Now that would have been a press conference. Why did Bob bring up, they let some English lady take the press conference? What's her being English got to do with it? Now, this is what I would say to Kate. Boxing is a male-dominated sport. You didn't get anything that Bob hasn't said to Dana, Eddie Hearn, Don King, Trump, or anyone he don't like. So all this, it was inappropriate, I'm disappointed, I wouldn't bother with that. If you're a woman in this male-dominated industry, you got to develop a tougher skin than that, because Kate's reply looked a bit weedy. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm so disappointed in all the industry you've built, Bob. It kind of sounded like she was placating to him when he dissed her. In all truth, she probably just wanted to smooth it over because with all the incels out there, is that what they call them? Incels? Who would have been trolling her like mad if she made a smart mouth reply. They would have been acting like absolute idiots, so I understand. I mean, Mike Coppinger got way worse than what Kate did, and that was to Mike Coppinger's face. You haven't heard Mike Coppinger come out today, I'm disappointed, Bob. It was inappropriate what you said. Nah. Mike triggered Bob. Bob came back. The security guard ushered Mike away, and, he's gone on his typewriter to do his next article. You got to develop a thick skin if you're going to get in this industry.
I mean, this is like, for me, you talk about disappointment. I mean, here's a kid in Teofimo who wins a fight that nobody expected him to win, and he is on top of the world, and he hasn't fought for over a year. I mean, that's a criminal thing.
It wouldn't have won the purse paid if you would have paid him what he was looking for.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
Yeah?
Yeah, prick.
Bob's been in the game for a long time. And he's been around a lot of boxers on the high-end pay scale. He's been around all of them who've made the big money. Ali, Oscar, Ray, Hagler, you name them. So he's seen his fair share of groupies trying to get with these athletes, these boxers. He's seen them. In 2019, there was that issue with Pulev and Jenny Suchet, the Asian lady. Now, it looks like she was trying to get paid or get in the industry because she was applying for accreditation, and at first Top Rank knocked her back, but she was persistent, and then eventually they approved the accreditation. And we saw Pulev kiss her very aggressively when she was interviewing him. And I think he did get suspended, but then they found she was lap dancing the whole of his crew and doing all the business she was doing, and her credibility was shot to bits. Not even Gloria, what's her name, could continue the case.
Isn't it crazy? And they when I said that, I pointed that out to the commission. They said, we will not tolerate any slut shaming. What the hell does that mean?
They use that term?
Yeah, slut shame. That I'm slut shaming her by calling her a slut, so therefore it excuses his behavior. I mean, I'm an old guy. I don't understand any of this crap anymore. I know what sexual harassment is. I really do. But that wasn't sexual harassment.
That's what he had to say about Jenny Suchet. Not holding back, obviously. So Bob probably is very suspicious. Alarm bells raise up in his head when he sees these attractive women in the industry. He probably got some preconceived ideas of what they're like. He seems to be cool with Christine Poncher, but Christine, she keeps it very professional, extremely professional. Like, for instance, she wouldn't have hugged Deontay Wilder like Kate did. So maybe a few things triggered Bob. I mean, he's old school. He's not used to seeing females hosting press conferences. He's used to seeing females being ring card girls. See, Christina Poncher, I remember watching her early, doing commentary, and you could see, and I mean this in a good way, how guarded she was that she was a female. Because Christine didn't miss a trick or nothing, or none of the ring action or anything. She was just spot on. You could see, I ain't going to mess this up and then say I'm a bimbo and shouldn't be there. Christine was on it. I remember being highly impressed. I said, God, you're going to mess up, Christine. Nope. Christine was on it. She had everything covered. Ring action, resume, information on the event, or ESPN. Now, we don't want to get into cloning a whole load of Christina Ponchers for women who want to be in the industry, but she's not a bad template to look at, ladies. She's not a bad one to look at, the way she conducts herself. I thought Kate was okay, not spectacular. I thought she was okay. Maybe Bob's trying to drum up some attention to try and sell some pay-per-views, some last-minute tickets.
Amir Khan put a tweet out saying Kell Brook now wants 149. He keeps moving.
This fight is a busted fight. We pulled out of that fight. You know, I was in talks with Amir to make the Manny Pacquiao fight, actually, about 4 weeks ago with Sean Givens, before he made his decision to retire. And we had that fight in great shape, ready to go in Dubai. That was a fight I was interested in. And I want Amir Khan against Conor Benn. The Kell Brook fight is just, you got two guys sitting at home just saying, how do we make as much money as possible? Neither of them want it anymore. Neither of them really, especially Kell. You know, but listen, if they can get the money and they can get you to pay for it, then I'm sure people will. But we're out of that fight. That's not one for us.
Amir Khan is pushing for that fight harder than Kell Brook. I could be wrong, but I would make the guess that Khan not needs the money, but wants the money more than he wants to get back in the ring. They're going to have to go to another territory, though. America. Would America be interested? Probably not. I mean, didn't the United Emirates pay Khan a bag for knocking out Billy Dib? Can't he get a bag for knocking out or fighting Kell Brook, should I say? Because Sky are not going to put up the money for what them guys want for purses. DAZN are not going to do it, and Frank Warren certainly ain't going to be having it. You know what I mean? And I don't think Khan, with his pride, he's not going to go to Frank Warren, is he? Because they split on acrimonious terms, didn't they? Frank would love Amir to be literally pleading with him to put the fight on. Frank would be like, here's my offer. A couple of thousand, take it or leave it. That's what Frank's going to do. That's how Frank's going to play Amir. And Kell, because Kell used to be with Frank Warren before he went to Matchroom. So he's going to play both of them. They ain't going over there. Because they ain't going to like what they're hearing. And Eddie's making it clear, we're not interested. We're not interested. I mean, he seems desperate to use Khan as a stepping stone for Conor Benn, though. Not so much Brook, but Khan. That's the one Eddie really wants. But Khan's not going to oblige. He's not stupid. He's not stupid. It's a cruel sport, man. I mean, just maybe 2.5 years ago, autumn 2018, after Khan outpointed Samuel Vargas, that fight was still viable on Sky. But in the last 3 years, they've both been comprehensively beaten by Terence Crawford. So it's dead in the water because they're just not going to fight for the money that anyone's going to pay for it right now. Is what it is. Katie Taylor is a talented fighter. I think her style is a bit limited to a degree. I think she's been lucky with a few decisions. One thing in her defense, though, is she doesn't turn fights down. I think the Clarissa Shields call out, she said, well, she's too big. And I agree, she's too big. Clarissa's just way too big. But Katie would take a fight if it's good to go. Now, I'm not going to put it all down to Joe Gallagher because I don't know if it is all down to him. But Natasha Jonas turning down a 6-figure purse to rematch Katie Taylor. And according to Eddie Hearn, they agreed to give her an easier fight because that's what Team Gallagher wanted. So Matchroom came up with 6 opponents, according to Eddie. And MTK, they were fine with most of the opponent choices because they managed Natasha. Joe Gallagher, nope. Vetoed all of them. Gallagher comes back with an opponent that's 5-4. Eddie wasn't impressed, but he said yes, but they couldn't deliver the opponent. Then Gallagher comes back with another fighter who is 1-10. 1 victory with 10 losses. This is what they want Eddie to put on DAZN. So Eddie says no. So Natasha has no fight at all. She's not on the card tomorrow. That's a disgrace. And to everybody who has a DAZN subscription like I do, and if Joe was trying to feed us this, we should say, yo, Joe, not acceptable. I'm glad Eddie turned it down because I have to pay for that rubbish. I don't know. Like Joe complains about the treatment of his fighters and he's mostly complaining about Eddie. Well, why do you mess with Eddie at all? Like, why would you entertain training a fighter who messes with Eddie then, if it's that bad? I mean, he complained about Natasha Jonas's treatment. When was that? Last year or something like that? But she turned down a fight with Katie Taylor, which is the most prized fight for most female boxers boxing in the world right now. She turned that down. And he also complained about the treatment of Callum Johnson. Now, Callum Johnson left Matchroom and went to Queensbury with Frank Warren. But let's look at Callum's activity. He fought Shawnee Monaghan in early 2019, and he had 1 fight last year. And Callum is fighting tomorrow on a Queensbury card against another just okay opponent who was stopped in 2 rounds just recently. And let's not get it twisted. He didn't leave Matchroom because he couldn't get any fights. He left because him and Joe were turning down fights what Eddie was bringing to them. Okay, let's compare Callum Johnson to Lyndon Arthur and Anthony Yard. 2 fella light heavyweights on the Queensbury, all signed to Frank Warren. They had a good fight last year, and it looks like Frank's going to get his way because Lyndon did sign a rematch clause. And they're going to be fighting again this year, taking tough fights against each other, while Callum Johnson is fighting these no-name light heavies. Then he was talking about how, the media and everybody favours the London fighters over my fighters up north. And I'm thinking, well, 2 of the biggest stars that Matchroom developed to put British boxing back on the map were Kell Brook and Carl Froch. And neither of them come from London. Thinking about it now, Callum Smith was on the AJ bill versus Usyk. He's just left Joe. Looked sensational, didn't he? Everyone's talking about Callum Smith as a light heavy. The Echo Arena is sold out tomorrow in Liverpool. Who's headlining? Liam Smith, Callum's brother. Guess who else just left Joe Gallagher? Liam Smith, headlining against Anthony Fowler tomorrow. So, there are lots of fighters, not from London, who are doing perfectly fine. Kid Galahad up there in Sheffield. Joe Gallagher has made a lot of his fighters inactive. And if Jonas is serious about her career, it's something she's got to look at. Not Eddie Hearn, she's got to look at Joe. At the same time, Jonas has a gig on Sky doing punditry work. And she must be pretty comfortable if she could turn down a 6-figure payday to fight Katie Taylor, so I don't know. Shiggity Shannon Courtenay has been stripped of a WBA bantamweight belt after missing the weight for a WBA bantamweight title defense against Jamie Mitchell. She weighed in 2.5 pounds over the 118-pound limit. The fight will go ahead, but win, lose or draw, Shannon will not be walking back out the ring with her belt. But obviously Jamie, if she wins, she'll be the new champion. She said we was on weight, ready to go yesterday on Instagram. Then last night, unexpectedly, her menstrual cycle started, which makes women gain weight. Now, you gotta be sensitive to homegirls' issues, but I don't know, maybe you could have kept that one quiet. I don't know, because they're just gonna rip her to pieces, and she's already had to deal with a lot of trolls as it is. I've never heard a woman say she missed the weight because of a menstrual cycle. It might have happened before, but they didn't mention it because there's a lot of people who'll be all over that, especially online.
Administration cycles, I'll give bitches. Bring your craziest nigga, I'll give stitches.
So both men are career heaviest. Wilder weighed in at 238, 7 pounds more than the second fight. 17 stone. Fury weighed in 277, 19 stone 7, 4 pounds heavier than last time out. He still has a considerable advantage in weight. 39 pounds to be exact. Wilder weighed in with his tracksuit bottoms. Tyson Fury weighed in fully clothed with a vest, tracksuit bottoms, and the Undertaker's hat, which led a lot of people speculating maybe he had weights in his pocket so he could appear heavier. I don't know. Fury said, ain't a man born from his mother's who can beat him. He was complaining last time he had a cracked skull and an injured arm. I can't wait for Saturday. They won't be able to recognize him after the fight. He's got a pretty wife down there who won't recognize him. I'll send him home butchered, like a butcher's block.
You smash this guy, and when you're looking over him, just for me, look down at him and say, rest in peace.
This one's for the Undertaker. I'm here today in your hat, sir. I'm going to smash him, and I'm going to say, rest in peace.
Is that what inspired that rant there? He went into full WWE mode? Now, it could be all a ploy to bring some attention to the fight, try and get some last-minute pay-per-view buys, because Wilder hasn't really participated in any back-and-forth banter, so it's been relatively low-key. But I don't know. Sometimes I do wonder if Tyson has used the mental health thing to give himself a shtick, so to speak. But maybe not. Looking at the community he comes from, the traveling and gypsy community, I have heard that they do have a lot of issues with mental health, high suicide rates, etc., etc. So while he may have played on it, I do believe he does have some issues. And I think he needs a bit of chaos to get him up for a fight. Now, this is not ideal for most fighters. It really isn't. But for Fury, there seems to be a method to the madness somewhere. Maybe one of the routes Wilder gets into this fight, from a psychological standpoint, is through all the crap he's been saying and the excuses he's been making. I think that's got to Fury a little. Because I've never heard him use language like CUNT and then involving Wilder's wife in it, saying she's not going to recognize him. It's a bit out of character for Tyson Fury. But maybe he really believes that he's got Wilder intimidated, maybe from the last fight, and he's just continuing that. He said Wilder's nuts are shriveled up. Look at him in the corner. His heart's shaking. Remember Wilder telling Dominic Brazil, I can feel your heartbeat from here. So maybe the tables are turned. Or maybe Team Malik and Wilder have worked out that Tyson likes the crazy shit, and we're not going to oblige him with the crazy shit. But I've been editing the vid as different information and videos are popping up. And I can't really say they're doing any of this now to drum up extra interest. There looks like there's genuine bad blood. Like I said, it was out of character for Tyson Fury to say what he said. No man from his mum's CUNT, and then he involved Wilder's wife into it. But it looks like Wilder's wife had her say, because Shane was calling his wife a B, and that she should be a lady who keeps quiet. There's different cultures. He wouldn't have a woman like that. There's a lot of bad blood there now. They need to keep an eye on this situation because there's a lot of racial overtones and ill feeling. And I'm just going to say this now. This bad energy will not end at the conclusion of their fight tomorrow. There will be no hugs and all the bad blood goes away because they've had a hard battle and earned each other's respect. Can't see it. At the weigh-in today, again like the presser, no face-off. No face-off. They're not taking no chances of something going off. Well, let's forget that for now. As entertaining as it might have been. I guess Wilder's dreams of fighting his brother at cruiserweight are dead now. No more bridgerweight fights for Wilder in the pipeline. 17 stone. Is there a purpose for why he's bulking up like that? Is he going to try and push Fury around? The 15 stone plus Wilder, his punching power came from the speed of being at that weight there. He was at his highest weight ever last time out. He didn't come close to putting Fury on the floor or doing any serious damage. You see, Fury's been bulking up in the last couple of fights, but he actually told Wilder and told the world why he's bulking up, and he went in there and showed everybody why he's bulking up. Now with Wilder, I'm asking, why are you bulking up? I mean, what's he going to say? Well, last time out I was too light and that's why he was able to bully me around the ring? No, because he said the costume was too heavy and it weakened him. Had nothing to do with the weight. At this stage here, Wilder just says so much shit, it's hard to know what's real from what's not. Tyson Fury, I'm not a cheerleader for the guy, I'll admit that, but I certainly ain't a fan of Wilder not giving his victor his props after defeating him and the excuses he's made so far. I'm not a fan of that at all. He said he was going to beat Fury up and then knock him out. I said he's never really beat anybody up, has he? He normally relies on that sledgehammer punch to either incapacitate his opponent, then he'll follow up and get a stoppage, or it's a one-shot deal. But with this added weight, it will be interesting to see if he can carry out all these combinations we've seen in whatever leaks of Deontay training. It'll be interesting. Looks like he wants to have a fight with Tyson Fury. Weighing in 7 pounds heavier than last time, he's not planning to move around the ring. He wants to have a fight. I'm not saying he can't do that, but he could be playing into Fury's hands. He needs to find angles to land his bombs. He needs to fight angles. He needs to fight smart. He needs to throw his punches from where Fury can't see the setup. Fury's ticked a couple of boxes. He's already took Wilder's best punches and got off the canvas. He's already did that. He's already beat him. Well, not beat him. He drew with him boxing on the back foot and beat him on the front foot. Does Wilder absorb them punches better than he did last time with the added bulk? And can he mount at least a little bit of offense to make it competitive this time around, is the question. See, I'm picking Fury. Anything can happen, but I'm picking Fury to win. Because I'm not buying into this, oh, well, I think there was something wrong with him last time out. I'm not buying into that. Because, look, if there was something genuinely wrong with him, he would have listed the one reason why he wasn't himself. One reason, and that would be it. But there's been several excuses, a whole load of accusations and allegedly this and that and this and that. And he's not accepting that his performance played any part in his loss. So I'm not buying into that. I don't want to see a one-sided fight. I don't think there was no need for this fight, but I don't want to see a one-sided fight. Now it's here. 153 3/4 for Anthony Fowler. But Liam Smith, he got there in the end. He had to strip down to the basics, and it all got animated as Shane McGuigan, in an almost state of paranoia, was gesturing like our Team Smith trying some old school tricks with the scales. So Liam was 154.3 with his boxers on. Took the boxers off and he was 153.2. So he lost 1.1 pound, according to Shane McGuigan. According to Shane, the Gospel of Shane, this is boxers weigh 0.1, 0.2 of a pound. Shane was accusing Liam of leaning on the towel when he stripped down. Because with the towel taking your weight, in theory, you could weigh less on the scale. Shane said when he got Liam not to lean on the towel, his weight went back up. Now, I don't want to accuse the Scousers of having compromised morals, but let's just say this. They are one of the most savvy communities in this country. Let me just say that now. I know some Scousers from back in the day. Mixed race, white ones, and they're very savvy. Let's just say that. So, according to Shane, he got Liam to stop leaning on the towel And now he was claiming that Joe McNally had his hand on him. Now Shane is very paranoid at this point. He's saying basically, with you having his hand on him, you could be absorbing some of Liam's weight, making him lighter on the scale. Because now Liam is weighing 152 with the assistance of Joe McNally's hand. Because Shane is saying all it takes is Liam to have his hands behind his back and someone behind him lifts his hands up, once again compromising the scale potentially, or in theory. Now there was a lot of people surrounding Liam when he was weighing in and when he had the towel around him. And with the towel, and it was a really big towel, it was a massive towel, with the towel theoretically hiding a lot of the activity from all the people surrounding Liam, anything could happen. And Shane wasn't having it. He was telling Liam's team, get your hand off him, stand back. If he makes the weight, he makes it. If not, he doesn't. Shane weren't having it. Then Shane said he saw his foot underneath the scale as well. So who's he talking about? Joe McNally? I'm thinking, because it wouldn't be Liam. But how would Joe McNally get his foot underneath the scale when the representatives from the board are looking at the procedure? I think Shane got a little paranoid here. Eventually, Eddie and the representatives from the board, I'm guessing, they said he made the weight. You know, there was a fine awaiting Liam if he didn't make it. So I'm assuming Shannon Courtenay, she got fined as well. But it's very tense, isn't it? It's a big fight. You know, they've sold out the Echo Arena. Big domestic clash. Big fight up Liverpool. And that's a big fight city in the United Kingdom. So I was looking at the action and, you know, it looked like Shane must have put his hand on McNally to try and get his hand off Liam. And that nearly turned into something, but it didn't quite go off. You know what I mean? Bloody scousers, eh? Joe McNally, he was pissed. He was saying, don't put your hand on me, don't put your hand on me. Like, you know, so that's Liam Smith's trainer. Shane's biggest bone of contention was they weren't standing back, basically. Good fight, very good domestic card. If you got a DAZN subscription, I advise you to watch this card. Then across the pond, they have a very good card and some very good fights as well. Good day for boxing fans. Very good day. Very good day. Frank Warren, he has a card. He has a card on. He's got Brad Foster taking on Jason Cunningham. That's for the British, Commonwealth and European Super Bantamweight title. Echo Esserman, 15-0. Brad Foster is 14-0, by the way. But Echo Esserman, the British and Commonwealth champion, he takes on Danny Ball. Callum Johnson is on there taking on Server Emelev for the WBO Global Light Heavyweight title. And there's several more 6 and 4 rounders on there as well. But that card has been overshadowed by Smith versus Fowler for definite. I'm sticking with my pick. I'm sticking with Fowler as my pick to win, which is outside the box a little. But he just looks stronger at the weight than Liam. You know what I mean? Just looks stronger. Maybe it's Liam's grey hair. Could be.